Testing. Hello. Okay, let me just make sure the sound is okay. I have to try it on my phone first. Yeah, I think it's okay. All right. Welcome, welcome. Let's dive into the charts. Today I'm going to look at Bitcoin, QANX, and TRVL. And my name is Amir. I do this stream for entertainment value only. None of it is financial advice. So ultimately, everyone has to make their own decisions about how they trade, how they invest. But you're welcome to join, watch, participate, say something, say nothing. Mock me, it's all good. It's all love. Let's have a look at Bitcoin first. So I did a stream last Saturday. I went into depth. My YouTube channel, I do a weekly update. I was doing it Fridays before, but I think Saturdays have been a little bit better at the moment, so I've changed it to Saturdays. And then I cut the streams up and I put them in their little sections. Got Dtravel, TRVL, we got QANX there, and then we got the Bitcoin part there. And last week I went into depth, did like 2 hours, 1 hour, and 1 hour. Did a full analysis, and let's just have a look and see what's happening now. Give me a second. I just need a tissue to blow my nose. Okay. As you can see, it's live. It's not prepared, it's live. So I just have a look at the charts and see what's going on. Let's have a look at last week. Let's have a look at this one. Have a look at all of these actually. I'm going to zoom in. And I initially had this short idea. It didn't happen. There was no reaction. Huh? So if you don't see a reaction, there's no trade. You can see there's no reaction because it went through the level and it just went through. If it goes through, there's no reaction, there's no shorts. This is how it works. First, that one. Let's have a look at this one. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah. So I was thinking either we have an SFP, some kind of reaction here, and then if we find support on that back test, then we can long. It's a bit trickier. It's not easy, but interestingly enough, there was a long to be had there, but you'd have to be really fast to get it. And then that just means take profit, and then it lost the level. So scalper's paradise with the correct reaction. And then that didn't happen. That didn't happen yet. And then we haven't hit the higher levels either. Okay. Let's go to the zoom out a bit. And I was just kind of looking at different possibilities in the higher time frame. So let's have a look at what's happening now. A really bullish weekly candle last week. That's a bullish engulfing. And then there's an SFP, there's a swing failure there. So we're kind of tightening into this triangle. Looks like a flat top triangle at the moment. Let's have a look at the monthly time frame. It's gone out and taken out the monthly high as well. Let's have a look at the order flow. Yeah, it's some bearish CVD here. Look, see the higher highs on the CVD bar, lower highs here. This part has been invalidated because you put higher highs in the CVD and higher highs in the price, but across the range here, from this point here, you see how the CVD goes up and then the price doesn't go up. So there is a bit of bearish CVD here. And then here you've got bullish CVD. You've got bullish CVD at the lows, you've got bearish CVD at the highs. So it just looks like we're forming a tightening range at the moment. Let's have a look at this range. There is this trend line that I've been looking at, and that's been broken. So let's have a look at that. Where is that trend line? To find it. This one. That was a really important trend line. And again, if it was bearish, if this was like the crazy bear market that we've experienced in the past, there was two trend lines, weren't there? There was one there and one there. And you see how they both broke. I think if it was like the beginning of a crazy bear market, these trend lines would hold. You wouldn't get these kind of breaks. And so I feel like we're getting a back test here of sorts. Is it a horizontal level back test where we're experiencing now, like that? Or is it going to go down to back test this trend line, take out these lows for a pump? We don't really know. No one knows. That's the beautiful thing about the markets. No one knows what's going to happen. So you just have to look for the right technical levels of confluence. This at the moment is a little bit bearish. Why? Because we're in the value area, the local value area, and the price has fallen underneath the point of control. So it means more of the volume is above the price, which is generally a bearish indicator. And you got this kind of high volume node down at the lows of this range. It's probably going to be the next good place to long this range. Let me have a look at the overall volume. Just update my volume levels. Haven't hit the point of control yet. We are back into the value area. You can see that. That's where this value area low is. There's no changes there. Did we clear these single prints? We cleared these ones. Oops, what was that? Let's have a look at these imports. They've been cleared. We've got this, look, we've got this naked daily point of control and weekly level lower down. Weekly MPOC. Where's the higher time frame levels? Wash daily. We've come back to test that wash daily level. Let's just have a look at these levels now. Depending on if this week is red or green. If it's green, then we don't. If it's red, we have a new weekly level, and we have this weekly level here. I marked it, but I think I marked it on the wrong chart. Let's go to the dailies. Got a new daily there. Can move that one. There you go. That's updated. So just there's quite a lot of confluence here. You got weekly, daily, you got this naked daily point of control. Coming down into this value area. Do we put in a higher low here? Like that. Like a flat top triangle. Could there be a flat top triangle forming here? Something like that. Let's get rid of these. Now these triangles can break down. It's not guaranteed to the upside. If it continues hitting this area, it will break through to the upside. Yeah. If it continues going, then it will break up. Got a phone call. Hold on. But it's with these triangles, you get fake outs. Yeah, you could fake out, take the lows, and then rise up. You can also get a fake out to the upside. That's what these triangles do. They fake everyone out. They stop everyone out, and then they go in the direction that they wanted to go. No one knows what's going to happen. You can see the volume is decreasing, so it is tightening here for some kind of breakout. Let me have a look at the monthly time frame again. I am inclined to think that if we kind of tighten, we will break out to the upside just because of these candles here. They look, to me, they look like some sort of reversal forming here on a higher time frame. If it closes green, and then that's a kind of a little bit of a reversal in the wick, and then the next one could smash up. That's kind of where my mind is at right now on a higher time frame. And at the moment, what's happening is it's just tightening. At the moment in this range, this could easily go on for another week with fake outs included. So just looking at these higher time frame levels, you can see that you've got this weekly and daily, you've got this rising trend line. It's only been hit twice, twice. If it hits again, with a naked point of control there. And get a reaction there. It could get a reaction. Could take it right back up to test again. Somewhere. Fake everyone out. Oh my god, this trend line's breaking, and then smash right back up. Test it again, and then maybe a lower high there. Or just go up. You need the reaction. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a fake out though before it goes in the right direction. So I'm not sure about the shorts, to be honest with you. You could always short an SFP, but you wouldn't long the highs. You'd be looking for shorts, but then if the price powers through, then it could just smash through. Could this just be rising? Like a rising wedge? That's possible too. Excuse me, allergies. I'm still inclined to think to the upside. Let's have a look at the order flow once more. So let's have a look at slightly higher time frame. Yeah, you can see there's some bearish CVD forming now, but then there's bullish CVD here. You see that the CVD went lower, the price was higher. If you get bullish CVD at the lows, bearish CVD at the highs, that kind of gives you an indication of what's happening next. Bullish at the lows, bearish at the highs. That's how it is at the moment. So probably just continue this range until we get a move. And in this situation, what traders will do is they'll take a short at the highs, they'll take a long at the lows, they'll have two positions open. And then one of them is going to get stopped out and the other one's going to be in profit. That's usually what happens with these kind of tightening ranges. So the next opportunity will be to long somewhere there. And then if we get a swing failure, probably a swing failure would be the safest bet for a short into the point of control, probably. If there's a reaction. And then maybe you do smash down, clear all the longs for something like that. I don't know. Anyway, this is food for thought, not financial advice. It's just entertainment. I think the best strategy is to long the lows, short the highs, and then wait for the breakout. Let's put this in its own group. So hide that. Wait, that's basically Bitcoin. I'm going to spend time on it. a lot of people have been like looking at the I've been looking at X, and I see a lot of posts about the next altcoin market. Where is it? I'm a bit Bitcoin. Sorry. Here, look, this person. Others BTCs on the verge of breaking out. I've seen a lot of posts like this. And then you have other posts to the downside. So it's food for thought. Some people are extremely bullish and some people are really bearish. Here, look. I assume during this quarter, almost all coins are going to rally back up to pre-10/10 levels. So you've got different people saying different things. Look, this person writes, buy any alts right now, sell in May. Thank me later. You could always make a lower higher. So this guy is assuming that it's just going to go up and make a higher high. You can always make a lower higher and then it becomes an ugly head and shoulders. So I think probably March, if it was going to have, we're going to have a pump, probably March would be a better month. You've got to see. You've got to look at Bitcoin. Here, this is another one. Look, Bitcoin super cycle starts next week. 91k, 170. Like, so you got a lot of people saying things like this. Let's have a look at this. It's like a rising something. I think there's a pattern, and then it smashes through, and then it just pumps. So you've got a lot of things like this. There's another one that I've seen, which is to do with global liquidity. Here, this is it. The Fed balance sheet is expanding for the first time in 4 years. Buy Bitcoin or stay broke. See that? So this is an interesting one. And it's really hard to predict because when you've got these fundamentals changing, and the market goes crazy, then anything can happen. Yeah. I do think we're reversing here. And for me, it looks like we're forming a reversal here on a higher time frame. It doesn't mean that I don't think last 6-month red candle wasn't bearish. I still think it was bearish. I think last 12-month candle was bearish too. And I think that's 3-month candle is a bearish engulfing. So it doesn't mean it's just going to go up in one go. It doesn't mean it's just going to do this. But it could it could do that, you know, like then you have continuation, reversal, undo the bearishness, and then continuation for the pump. So a lot of people are looking for lower because they're bearish. It'd be nice to get Bitcoin at 50k, wouldn't it? Or lower. But then do you really buy if we go down to 50k? Do people buy? I don't know. That's when people are really scared. They don't buy. If it goes down to 50k, something is happening in the world, and then people really don't buy. So there's some things happening on the world right now, which is having an impact on everything. So you've got Venezuela. Maduro was captured by the American Special Forces. You can see it. And so that's a big shift in global geopolitics here. Venezuela has some of the largest oil reserves in the world. So this is a big shift in the dynamics of what's happening around the world. Oil means lower prices for energy, and that reduces inflation, and then that has a risk-on effect. Good morning, Altcoin Dreaming, welcome. So this is a big shift. And then you've got something else happening right now, exactly as we speak. And it's about Iran. So Iran is actually right now undergoing a revolution. I don't think people realize what's happening in Iran because the mainstream media isn't reporting on it. I'm actually originally from Iran. I'm originally Persian, born and raised in the UK, and so obviously I'm watching it quite closely, and you can see what's happening. There's, for the first time, everyone is coming out and calling for regime change. And this could be a big shift in global geopolitics too, because this guy, who's the former Shah's son, his name is Reza Pahlavi, he's in America right now, and if he comes back, then effectively Iran becomes secular democracy. And this guy and Trump are aligned, and Iran has also, along with Venezuela, look at this. Look at the oil reserves. Look at that. Iran's oil reserves, Venezuelan oil reserves. These are, right now, Iran sells its oil to China at like 50% or less discount in the black market. So this is going to be a significant shift in global politics. And then obviously that will have a massive impact on Russia, because Russia would effectively lose its ally. So will China, in a sense. And so this is a big shift in global geopolitics, which could have a fundamental impact on energy prices. And so there's some big things happening around the world, which may play into what happens next on crypto. So technically you can say, well, actually this is looking bad, it probably wants to go down, but maybe fundamentally things are starting to look good, which could change the risk on appetite for big investors. And then when you see gold is a risk off asset, isn't it? And gold is at all-time highs, and the minute gold starts to collapse, all of that value floods into everything else. Usually when gold starts pulling back significantly, then you get a massive run on Bitcoin. So there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening fundamentally. When I look at Bitcoin dominance, it's still kind of looking to go down. Huh? See that? Last week we got another big red candle. It's Bitcoin dominance is still looking bearish. It's not looking bullish at all. So I think possibly we're forming a tightening range for a breakout to the upside. Now the question is, do we fake out everyone and then go up? Who knows? Right now traders are just scalping the range, longing the lows, shorting the highs. Do we get a tightening wedge for excuse me, or something like that? Or do we just go straight up? And straight up would be no reaction there. It would just be smash through like that. That's Bitcoin basically. I think probably the next best kind of long will be around here, which I marked out. You've got these kind of weekly levels. You've got an NPOC there. The value area low of this local range, somewhere around there. Wait for the reaction. Maybe it just kind of hits this trend line and then things right back up. Maybe it goes down a little bit further, but you kind of need a reaction. The reason why you need a reaction, because the price could always do that. All right, that's Bitcoin. I'm going to move on now. I'm not going to have a long stream today. Hope everyone is well. No one missed me too much. Let's have a look at the next thing I wanted to look at, which is QANX. Again, my name is Amir. I'm a QANX enthusiast, QANplatform enthusiast. I have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And I do a weekly update on QANX, Bitcoin, and sometimes some other things, Dtravel and TRVL. I did a 1 hour update last week, just went over the technicals. Very simple. Actually, I was using a different chart. I messed up. I did it in the other chart. Let me go to that one there. Let me just save. Oops, wrong one. Let me go to that one. I was meant to do a new chart, but whatever. We had 2 weeks ago, we had a bullish engulfing. I said the price could come back to test the lows a little bit, and that's kind of what it's doing at the moment. Resistance is at about 2 cents, which is what I was suggesting. And then I was just kind of saying it's possible that we're going to form a cipher. It depends. I mean, imagine if they launched the mainnet. Then everything changes. Yeah, you could just go up in one big gigantic 10x God candle with volume, and everything changes. And this is just based on the assumptions of up and then consolidate, up and then consolidate, and up and then consolidate. That's kind of what I was talking about. I'm not going to go over it again. If you want to watch that stream, go to last week's stream. Just looking at the price action, it was just kind of hit resistance at 2 cents. That's the next level we have to break and flip. 2 cents. Have a look at the volume levels quickly. I can't see any significant increase in volume, so I don't think there's much changes in the volume. But I'll do it anyway. Yeah. Got a weekly level there, a new weekly level. Let me just see if I've marked that off. Yeah, I've already had it. So it's a little bit of resistance still there at 2.1 cents, 2 cents, 2.1 cents. We have to break through. We have to flip this area into support. And we haven't hit this weekly level yet. We're coming now into this kind of higher time fib. You see that? So that's like a little back test flip of this fib level here. It holds the support. Maybe we go up again and push up. What we really need to do is flip 2 cents back into support. And then we can take the... It'd be nice to just smash through. It'd be nice to smash through with volume. But let's see what happens. You've got the point of control as well. Let's kind of bring this down a little bit. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, 2 cents, and then you got 2.5 cents. You've got a few levels in the way. It's quite this project is based on news, isn't it? And everyone's looking at the QANplatform news and waiting for that moment where they announce the mainnet. This is their X page. Washington's doubling down on quantum leadership. Bipartisan senators led by these guys just introduced the National Quantum Initiative, extending US quantum push through December 2034. So we are actually about to enter the age of quantum computing, it's a quantum future. That's quite evident, isn't it? That's evident, that's obvious. And so I still firmly believe, and it's a strong belief, but that's all it is right now, that maybe as a layer one, this is going to be a runner. If the rest of crypto manages to run, if Bitcoin manages to surprise people, then I think this one is going to be a big deal. Layer one quantum resistant blockchain. Maybe they're looking to launch the mainnet at the right time where they can get the biggest move on their token, on their platform. It's kind of what I feel. Probably they're waiting for the right time, probably. If they launch it now, it might not be the right time. If Bitcoin starts to pile through all-time highs and then there's another major breakthrough in quantum computing, maybe a 20,000 qubit processor or something crazy like that, then they can coordinate that. Then we can get a massive run, can't we? We can get a big run. So that's all there is really to say about this token, to be honest with you. I don't really have anything to say. Last 2 weeks ago was a bullish engulfing. We're just getting a little bit of a pullback. I'd like to see if we get a reversal, a close higher than previous week low. The reversal here for a smash through, getting us back into the range, getting us back into this range above 2 cents. Once you get back above 2 cents, I think a lot of people are going to be like, all right, I'm going to start buying more aggressively now. Let's have a look at the volume. Yeah, you see that buy up was increasing volume slightly, decreasing volume on the selling. So it looks like we're healthily forming some kind of pivot here for the next move. That's what it looks like. All right. Unless there's any questions, I'll move on. Feel free to share, like my tweets, my stream. I'll post this as a separate video for the QANplatform enthusiasts later. All right, that is QANplatform. I'll quickly move on. Okay, so this is what I'm going to look at next. It's TRVL from Dtravel. If you don't know me, I've got a crypto channel. It's entertainment value only, no financial advice. It's just for fun. I do a weekly update on TRVL and Dtravel. People say, oh, I'm a crypto influencer. Actually, I'm an Airbnb superhost. That's what I really am. 190 reviews, 4.99 stars. So this is for fun. Yeah, a lot of people think I'm trying to influence. Well, maybe I am, but it's really for fun. It's really just for entertainment. I enjoy it. I don't do it because I have to. I do it because I enjoy it. And it's not financial advice. You may not agree with my opinions. Let's agree to disagree. Okay. I talk about the charts often. Last week I went into depth on the charts. The weeks before I talked about Dtravel. Here, these are important videos. Why I'm still bullish on Dtravel, my journey, my history, and what's next. Why I'm still bullish on TRVL despite the nightmare crash. TRVL crash, dead coin, or 1/800x rebirth in 2026. Why I'm all in now. And then last week I just did a slightly longer chart analysis. I think all of these videos are relevant, but I don't think I'm going to really spend time on the charts, to be honest with you. I'll have a look at the higher time frame candles first and see what's happening. Nothing much. We've got this monthly candle from last month with a massive buying tail, big volume. For me, that suggests that this is a pivot. This increasing in volume with this buying tail for me, this is a pivot, a significant pivot. We haven't seen anything like it on the charts. If you look at the charts, it's a significant volume into this pivot, into this area. I think this is the low. I think the low is in. Okay. Last 2 weeks ago, we had a piercing candle. We had a red candle that followed. So that generally signifies a reversal. The green candle signifies is a bullish reversal, but you need another green for continuation, and so we didn't get that last week. We've got a red, and so there's no continuation on that last week, 2 weeks ago green candle. But then usually what happens is you get a sell if it's a continuation. That's usually what happens, and we're not getting that. So while it was bearish last week, we're not getting continuation on the selling. That's what it looks like. Doesn't look like the selling is continuing. To me, it looks like the selling is diminishing right now. And when you kind of zoom in, it looks like consolidation for another move. For me, this looks like consolidation underneath resistance, potentially for another move. That's what it looks like at the moment. Maybe, I don't know. Is Lunk about to pump? Okay, so all of this looks like consolidation underneath resistance at the moment. We are getting bullish absorption on the indicators. And we're getting bearish indicators too. So we're getting bearish and bullish. It's kind of similar with all of crypto. Bearish at the highs, bullish at the lows. Right now we are getting on this 4-hour time frame, we're getting some hidden bullish divergences. You get to see the MACD's gone lower, but the price is higher. For me, this looks like bullish consolidation at the moment. And what bullish consolidation is that people don't want to, they want to buy a steady amount over a period of time. They don't want to buy it all at once because of the slippage. You buy it, let's say you buy like 50 million tokens all at once, you're going to get a bad price. It could slip 50%, 100%. So when you time your purchasing at the lows in fragments, then you get accumulation at this level. You get your fill at a much healthier price, and then that's when you get the bullish divergence, because it means the selling is getting absorbed. Anyway, that's the charts. Nothing really to write home about at the moment. Let's kind of look at something more pertinent. If you go to the Telegram on the Travel channel, you can have a look at some things. There's lots of conversations. Feel free to go and have a look. Feel free to go and participate. No one is wrong. Everyone has their opinion, and we can agree to disagree. It's all good. Yeah. Just because I don't agree with a lot of people doesn't mean it invalidates their opinions. Yeah. We can agree to disagree. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is build something where everyone can participate. That doesn't require us to have the same mind or the same vision or the same ideas. It requires us to be able to be gentlemanly about having differences of opinion. And if you don't agree with me, then we can agree to disagree. And if you can't agree with agreeing to disagree, then that's on you. Okay. So I'm not really engaging with people at the moment, because people have their opinions and they should have the right to express themselves. It's good to kind of release the emotions and your feelings, and there's clearly a place to do that here. What's important though is this announcement yesterday. So I'm going to read it for you. This announcement is by Eric Pace, the new CEO, and it's an update. Okay, and he's posted it on this Telegraph blog post, and he's also said that there's going to be a live written Q&A in this chat on Monday, and everyone should feel free to drop questions now, today and tomorrow. Let's go and have a look at this blog post. Ooh, that didn't work. Let me kind of copy the link. I'll try and find it here. I'm going to read it and kind of give my comments. The Future of Dtravel, Ownership, Identity and Continuity by Eric Pace, January the 9th, 2026. Hey everyone, happy Friday. That's Dtravel has spent the last few months tearing down every assumption and going back to first principles to answer one question. How does Dtravel actually win? Dtravel's team has remained laser focused on their core purpose to own travel. But we've realized that we're fighting the wrong war. And this is by Eric, so it's not by me, so I'll just read it. I'll start with the core traveler program because that's where this new direction begins. Then I'll explain why we believe this is the right path forward. Traveler ownership. Here's the simple truth we keep coming back to. Your travel life has no home. You travel for years, you learn what kind of traveler you are, you find places you love, places you never want to return to, but none of that really sticks. Every new trip starts from zero. Every app and platform asks you to explain yourself again. Your history is scattered across emails, maps, photos, and platforms that don't talk to each other. Travel doesn't remember you, and because you don't own that history, you can't really use it. This problem has existed for decades, but it's actually getting worse as AI adoption accelerates. So we're building that home. We're extending own travel beyond transactions and creating continuity, something travelers don't have today. We're starting with something simple and useful, a personal travel dashboard, a private place where your travel finally lives in one place, where you can see where you've been, how your travel has evolved, and the patterns that form over time. Think of it like Strava for travel. Runners use Strava to visualize their effort and their own achievements. We will give travelers the same power to visualize their journey and own their reputation while making it fun and rewarding to do so. On its own, it's valuable. But if we can collectively scale individual ownership, things get interesting. A new kind of travel market can emerge. Why does this matter? A Strava for travel sounds nice, but what does it fundamentally change? From a traveler's perspective, we're creating something that's not just a personal archive, but a tool that makes planning infinitely easier. Over time, patterns, familiarity, and trust naturally emerge from real experiences. Traveler profiles can finally convey something meaningful. Once a traveler is deeply known, true personalization becomes possible. Working closely with hosts, we've also learned that they want to give discounts to the best travelers while screening out the 5 to 10% that create operational headaches. This creates a world where planning, discovery, and booking get exponentially better as traveler and host roadmaps converge with far less friction and far more trust. For years, what does this mean for the business model? So this is important. For years, we, as in Dtravel, like much of the industry, focused primarily on inventory and price. The reality is that strategy is a grinding war of attrition that heavily favors incumbents with massive budgets. But traveler identity and continuity are different. They are long-lived, user-owned, and cross-platform by nature. Incumbents can't easily build this without undermining their own business models. That creates an opening for a new layer to emerge above existing marketplaces, rather than competing head-on for marginal take rates. If Dtravel succeeds here, we're no longer just another place to book stays. We become the access infrastructure that other travel tools, hosts, and eventually AI systems depend on. This also enables Dtravel to move from a transactional model to a membership and status model. This is how we align the token with long-term network value. What about TRVL? In short, everything changes. This new direction shifts TRVL towards structural capital that helps power trust between strangers. Reputation becomes longitudinal, building over time. As we build a community of trusted travelers, we can incentivize contributions to verify the network and manage risk. If Dtravel's bet is right, TRVL is no longer peripheral, it becomes integral to the core infrastructure that fuels this entire ecosystem. 2026 is Dtravel's year. I believe, that's Eric believes, traveler ownership is the biggest unsolved problem in the $12 trillion travel market. Incumbents are locked into closed business models. That means the opportunity belongs to the disruptor. Solving this won't be easy. It will take hard work, iterative testing, and a community willing to build something that compounds over time. But Eric believes this direction gives Dtravel its best chance yet to become a disruptor that we aspire to be. We're launching a new landing page next week, and we'll share more as things become concrete. In the meantime, he wants to hear from us, and Dtravel will be doing a live written Q&A in the Telegram chat on Monday. Everyone is welcome to drop questions over the weekend, and he's going to read everything and answer the best ones live. Right. So let's go back to this. So let's just make this clear. I don't work for Dtravel. Yeah. And I'm a spectator. I'm a Dtravel host. And I'm an investor. I'm a true believer. I have my own opinions. Okay. I have my own ideas. Everyone does. Okay. And that's the point. We're all welcome to have our own opinions and our own ideas. You don't have to watch me. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to switch on if you don't want to. And if you do, let's have a chat. Okay. But we're in the same boat, huh? I'm just as critical. And so I'm going to kind of pick this out piece by piece. So for me, the most important thing is here the acceptance of previous and past failures. Yeah. I think it's really important for me that we acknowledge where we're wrong, because you can't change or you can't correct yourself if you keep on believing that you're right when you're not. If you keep on insisting that you're always right when you're not, then how can you become better? How can you improve? How can you fix the problems? Okay. And that's kind of where he kind of starts, doesn't he? He's kind of saying, tearing down every assumption and going back to first principles. Yeah. He's basically saying that you can't go head on. You can't go head on with the industry because they're the incumbents and they have massive budgets. It's a grinding war. Look, the reality is strategy is a grinding war. Yeah. And that's just not feasible. It's not feasible. And it's been obvious because our network has not grown exponentially. And at the current rate, it won't grow exponentially because these big incumbents are still growing at a very fast rate. And they're dominating the markets. Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia. So he's saying that doesn't work. But he's accepting that. He's saying that you can't do that. So they're tearing down I think that's the right start, isn't it? To say that you're wrong. If you rather than just start, well, we were right, but hey, token price is down, so let's change things. He's not saying that. He's not saying we're wrong because the token price is down. He's saying we're wrong because it is wrong, because it didn't work. It's got nothing to do with the token price. It's about the business. And therefore, they're tearing down every assumption and going back to the beginning, to the first core principle. And he's based it on one question: how does Dtravel actually win? And I think that's the question that we all want answered. How do we actually win? Everyone who's invested or involved in Dtravel wants to win. We want Dtravel to succeed. And winning means winning. And here he's kind of focused on this core purpose. How does Dtravel own travel? Okay. And he's acknowledged that we were fighting the wrong war. So there's a lot of important concessions here. I think concessions that were important to make, because once you make those concessions, you can just you can move on. Huh? We don't have to go back and keep on going back and saying, well, Dtravel made a mistake, or the previous leadership. We don't have to go back there. We can start afresh. We can start anew with these questions and tearing down those assumptions. I think that's right. He makes an analysis about travel ownership, and he's highlighted the problem and he's explained why it matters. So he's highlighting a serious problem, a problem maybe that I didn't even see or understand. And he sees the problem and he understands it because he's got access to all the data. He's been in the industry for a long time. And maybe the old Dtravel were trying to solve that problem with the night protocol. Maybe they had the right idea but the wrong execution. And maybe this is a more improved idea with the correct execution. Okay. And so he's kind of taking it back. And he's learned that what we need to do is focus on giving travelers something that they can't get anywhere else. Something that they value, something that they want, something that the closed networks can't give, the Airbnbs and bookings, etc., can't give, because it disrupts their own business models. Yeah. Effectively, to become a disruptor, you have to disrupt the current version of Dtravel, the previous version, so to speak, doesn't actually disrupt Airbnb. It doesn't stop Airbnb from existing. Like you can still, I still host on Airbnb, I still host on booking.com, and I host on Dtravel. Coming to Dtravel didn't disrupt Airbnb. And what he's looking to do is create something that disrupts everything else. And he's identified the problem. He's identified the why and what needs to happen to disrupt. And effectively, it's giving travelers something that they want, they need, that other businesses can't. Effectively, that's what he's saying. And then also he's kind of talked about AI. And AI is clearly the future. I mean, AI is heavily used today. I use it. Everyone uses it. Everyone. And probably in the next 5 years, probably AI will make more millionaires than the whole of the internet has in the whole of the internet's history. Probably. I think AI is probably creating something for AI correctly is a safe bet. And that's what he's suggesting, isn't it? That's what he's talking about. If Dtravel succeeds here, we're no longer looking for another place to book stays. We become the access infrastructure that other travel tools, hosts, and eventually AI systems depend on. So he's onto something. Yeah, he's obviously got something in his mind. And now he talks about TRVL. And here, this is really important. This is a key catchphrase. Everything changes. That's kind of what I've been saying, but here he's saying it too, that the CEO is saying everything changes. This new direction shifts TRVL towards structural capital. I don't know what that means, actually. I have no idea. But it sounds good, structural capital. I like the word capital and I like the word structure. And I like the idea that it helps power. I like the word power. And I like the word trust. So I like these words. He's using the right words. Reputation becomes longitudinal as we build a community of trusted travelers. I read in Telegram, someone says, where's the community? Community's gone. Well, look, maybe the speculators have gone, but the community still stands. Yeah, we still have a community of hosts. They don't come on Telegram. They don't actually use crypto. Yeah, we have 6,300 plus listings. Most of them aren't bothered with crypto or Telegram. The community's alive and kicking. Just because they don't come into the Telegram channel and type doesn't mean they've evaporated. They exist. Yeah. So sometimes just because it's not visible, it doesn't mean it's not there. Anyway, as Dtravel builds a community of trusted travelers, and so his focus is back on the travelers. We can incentivize contributions to verify the network. So he's talking about using TRVL to verify, manage risk, and incentivize. And so it becomes a very important utility token to the new vision, to the new direction of Dtravel, one which everyone will need to use, I guess. That's what I'm getting from this. And so he's actually saying clearly TRVL is no longer peripheral. It becomes integral to the core use, to the core infrastructure that fuels the entire ecosystem. And that's kind of what we want. We want TRVL to be integral. and no longer peripheral. We want it to become key, the fuel of this infrastructure, this entire ecosystem. So he's actually saying the right things. He's kind of, it feels like he's on the right path. And he's made a real bold statement here. 2026 is Dtravel's year, and I agree. It is. So he's saying it won't be easy. It's going to take hard work. Anything worthwhile is not going to be easy. Anything worthwhile is going to take hard work. And he believes that the community, he believes that it's something that will compound over time. So there's a live Q&A on this chat on Monday. Let's go back to Telegram. There's a few questions there. Let's have a look at them quickly, and then that will be my stream for today. Let's have a look here. Harry Jack, hey mate, how's it going? Oh, I don't have to read through all of this. The questions are there. Good questions, huh? Concrete questions for Monday. What happens to the 500 million TRVL tokens that are frozen out? Good question. What will be the future of the 500 million? Is this a totally new start, or do you have to build from scratch, or can Dtravel take some things? Good question. What have recent activities to do with the new strategy? Yeah, these are really good questions. Will there be a market attack strategy? Yeah, I like that. I like all of these questions. What do the current partners think? The big ones, but also the property managers of the new strategy. And are they losing their current use of the ecosystem? Are they involved? What will be the strategy of DEX and sexes? Dtravel started more than 5 years. I think it was 4 years. Eh? Do we have to wait another 5? No, hell no. We're not going to wait another 5 years, Harry. This year, this is our year. 2026 is our year. It's the year of the fire horse. This is where the horse runs free, powered by fire, spirit powered by fire. Kenny's keeping track of the Telegram users. Okay. Here's a few quick questions. He says he's a long-term hodler. Question by A. What are our milestones for Q1, milestones for Q2? How will we gain more liquidity? How will we attract new investors? How will the marketing look like? KOLs. Not paid in TRVL tokens. I hope not. I agree. We shouldn't pay them in TRVL tokens. And they should buy TRVL tokens on the market. I agree. Token burn is in. I agree. We should have some kind of token burn integrated into the future. Perpetual token burn. Somehow integrated into the business. Not buybacks. I don't like buybacks. I like burns. I agree. I like that idea. Burns. Ari Jens is asking me a question. Well, we're gonna have to wait until Monday, huh? Q&A is on Monday. We can ask. Hopefully, Eric is going to bring more light to the future. Here, Eric answers: the strategy is to create a product that provides value for lots of users. We are a travel company; it's the only thing that matters. He's answering Leandro's comments here. Leandro's asking for news. He's right. I mean, there haven't been any mention of partnerships, listings, etc. There is a community. I disagree with you. Yeah, you're saying what community? There is a community. It's just that a lot of the community, they're not on Telegram. Yeah, the hosts, they're not on Telegram. Yeah, so we're not just a crypto project. We're a real world business, and a lot of the hosts and operators, they don't come on Telegram. They don't even have crypto wallets. So it's a bit more nuanced. Yeah, maybe the crypto community needs to grow, and we need to work on that. I think a lot of people who have left were speculators or weren't really interested in the success of Dtravel long term for whatever reason. But we have the chance now to rebuild that, don't we? We have an opportunity now to start afresh and rebuild that. People right now don't care about travel or anything else because they lost everything seen. I don't know what you mean by people don't care about travel because they lost their assets. I'm not quite sure what you mean. You mean speculators or crypto investors in Dtravel? Maybe. Okay. We need listings. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we want TRVL to explode in price. We're on the same page here. That's going to restore confidence. Well, we want a healthy increase in price as well, Leandro. It's not just about pump and dump. I think that's the problem we faced in the past. We don't want a pump and dump token again. We want healthy accumulation. We want people to buy, hodl, buy, hodl, buy, hodl, and never sell. That's really what we want. And that's how we're going to get the price of TRVL sustainably up without it coming back down. I think people haven't had a reason to accumulate. They haven't had a reason to catch the dip or to buy the dip. And they haven't had a reason to not sell. Okay, so once we kind of tick those boxes and answer those questions and change the narrative and give people the confidence that TRVL is going up now, you don't sell now, you buy. You don't trade, you dollar cost average and you hodl, then I think everything will change. It sounds like that's what they're on that track. We've already lost Bybit. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I was quite sad about that because I use Bybit. We're not losing Gate. Let's not even imagine it. KuCoin and the others. Let's try and manifest positivity and manifest the future that we want to see. Let's stop the hypocrisy. Yeah, we should have empathy. I have empathy. You've criticized me and I accept the critique. Yeah, no offense intended, so I apologize if you felt like I was being mean or I was offending you. I didn't mean that you're unkind. I was just, anyway, whatever. Okay, let's try and move on from that. What else have you said? I agree with this. What matters and will attract is what Dtravel needs is for TRVL to shine. I've been saying this all along, and I've been saying this from the beginning, actually, from over 2 years. It was in October 2023. I hosted an event for Dtravel in London with my brother, and the then CEO came. I brought along a whole bunch of crypto investors to the event, and in that whole event, she didn't mention TRVL once. Okay. And then a month later, I was in a video chat with her and I said, you need to focus on TRVL. Otherwise, we're going to be a pump and dump token. I kept on talking about TRVL. They were very hesitant to sell TRVL when it was at 9 cents or 12 cents or even 5 cents, because there was this kind of arrogant assumption that TRVL was going to the moon and it was too cheap to sell. If they would have sold TRVL at those prices, then they could have defended, Dtravel could have defended TRVL at 2 cents and stopped it from going lower. But they didn't have that foresight. They weren't listening to people like you, like me at the time, saying we need TRVL to go up. That's the key, because if TRVL goes up, then you don't need to sell much TRVL to continue funding, and actually it's going to attract more people. That's what I was saying. I've been saying it for a long time. So we 100% agree there. I'm on the same page. You have $1 million project. I think we have a much bigger project, actually. I think it's a multi-billion-dollar or bigger project. And I don't agree with this. You lack determination. I think I haven't seen people more determined. I haven't seen anyone more determined to make this succeed. Okay, I 100% support and put my trust and confidence in Eric. So we can agree to disagree. All right. Andrea says some things as well. Let me see what she says. Don't know what she says. Oh, there is. She says it's completely fair for all community members and investors to expect action from the team at any time and then under any circumstances, and it will come. She's going to get more information and aligning with the team and come back with a clear, structured response and a concrete plan. Well, I don't think she needs to now because Eric's already made that post. So we have to wait until Monday. Yeah, and you can raise that in the Q&As. You can talk about more regular communication from Dtravel. Right. Anyway, I think it's good to be honest. I think it's important to agree to disagree and to be respectful in that idea. And I think it's important that we ask the right questions and give them the opportunity to answer. And let's see what happens. I'm pretty interested to see how this plays out. Yeah. Whatever happens, this is a shift. This is a massive shift. This is kind of what we want. We don't just want some band-aid. We want change. Yeah, because clearly the last 4 years hasn't worked. You can see it. This is the last 4 years. It hasn't worked. This isn't. You can't fix this by just fixing tokenomics or something, or just adding a bigger discount to TR or making another staking pool. It's just not going to fix this. They've tried all of that. They tried tokenomics. This was the tokenomics. This was the staking pool there. There was another staking pool there. They tried all those things. It didn't work, did it? Yeah. And during that time, the token went down and the business didn't grow. The network, the real world network, didn't grow exponentially, which is what was required. Okay. So clearly the shift is welcome because this hasn't worked. And that's, it's more than just, let's just pump the token, because the problem with pumping the token artificially, let's just give the market a 200% APR for the next 3 months. Let's pump it. You just dumps, then it dumps, and then you're back at the bottom. Okay. And it becomes even more bearish if that happens. What we need to do is we need to change everything, which is what he said, and that will start to bring back the more institutional type investors, the bigger investors, the people who start to will hopefully align with the direction that Dtravel is heading, because they clearly don't believe that Dtravel is going to be a like-for-like Airbnb killer. But what if Dtravel can disrupt those legacy markets with something that the market needs but isn't provided, and that has potential room for growth to the trillions? What we actually need is structurally, we need the price to come up. We can't just, going up like that isn't going to fix this. Yeah, it might give everyone an easy exit, but then what happens? You get a big sell, and then this becomes a rejection, and then we're finished. What we actually need to do is get back correctly, get back up above 2 cents correctly. Yeah, that's really what needs to happen. You've got 9 cents, you've got 2 cents, and we've got these new lows here. And to get back up correctly, we need to go up, come down, go up, get up. Yeah, we need structure. That could take a few months. Then we need to flip structure back into support. Then we can have another go at the top. That's how you want to get back up. You don't just want to go up and turn. We want to change the structure now so that we structurally go up. And that will show that the sentiment has changed. And instead of selling and the lower highs and buying the lower lows, we start getting people selling the higher highs and buying the higher lows. So the sentiment changes too. That's kind of what we need for the long term. That's a lot more healthier, because then we're not going down again, are we? Then we can just sit on our position and just wait for the business to grow and disrupt the market. That's my opinion. It's not financial advice, but we can agree to disagree. The other problem with going up suddenly, and this is really important, it's kind of, a lot of people don't really understand the momentum. At the moment, the momentum is strongly to the downside. Here, let me pull up the other chart that I had. That's in the other one. I've got this moving average ribbon. So if you want to see momentum, you've got to kind of look at the moving averages. And at the moment, you see on this higher time frame, you can see the momentum is to the downside. So even if we were to just suddenly like pump, because of the momentum of this move to the downside, we still end up going down. Yeah, it's just the way it works. What we need is for these moving averages to flatten and then turn and then flip them back into support, and we want the momentum to reverse to the upside. Yeah, and every time frame has its own kind of momentum ribbon. Okay, and it starts at the lower time frames, where if you can turn the momentum back to the upside, then we have a chance of flipping the momentum and starting to build market momentum to the upside. And it's when you get the price finally turn the higher time frame momentums to first flat and then start trending up. That's when you start getting the big moves, and that will take us into price discovery. Okay, so there is a lot of work to do when it comes to the price and recovery. See, right now on the 4-hour time frame, it's gone flat, hasn't it? See, whereas before the momentum, look at this, is a 2-hour time frame. Look at the momentum. It's like smashing, the price was going down and down and down. And for the first time, we're kind of trying to flatten out. The problem is that you've got this higher time frame moving averages, and what we need to do, and this is, it's not going to be a straight run. We need to actually get the price to go up and then take some time to consolidate. That's what we need. And then we need to turn the momentum flat first. Okay, so the only caveat with that is if we were to see a God candle. Okay, and a God candle requires volume. It requires significant buying suddenly, and volume confirms that. And if you get God candles, then the averages quickly start to turn, because now you're putting in much higher numbers on the averages. Okay, and so you can get really sharp turns. Suddenly you get that and it starts to go up like that, and if you see that, that changes things a lot as well. So at the moment, I don't think it's to get a low volume pump. Yes, God candles. To get a low volume pump, yeah, it'll make everyone happy temporarily, a low volume pump. And then the minute the selling starts, we're right back down. Okay, because of the illiquid nature of these micro caps, these super low market cap tokens. Yeah, and then everyone's panic selling again, and then everyone's saying the project is dead. But the reality is we need high volume buying, and then we need to sustain the levels that we reclaim into support. Yeah, it's just technical. And so just from a technical perspective, I don't think it's a good idea to pump the token. What we actually need to do is what Eric is suggesting, is to bring back market confidence, bring back investor confidence, and disrupt the market and bring people on board so that they start accumulating and not selling. And if he's talking about structured capital, structural capital. I like that word. I like power and I like trust. So if he can pull that off, and if we do disrupt a market, then we're all going to be very happy in the long run. Okay. All right, that's my TRVL update for today, Dtravel. I think it's extremely positive. The update was a private community members update, so it's not actually announced yet. It gives you an opportunity to give your feedback. You see, it hasn't been announced yet. See, this is the Telegram. It's not there yet, so it's not for the public yet. What we're seeing now on Telegram is for the community. And so this gives us an opportunity to ask questions, to give back our feedback. I like the way Harry Jacks has done it, because he's kind of structured it in points, and everyone's opinion matters. If we don't agree, we agree to disagree. Yeah. And that is the spirit of going forward, I think. All right. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to reading the updates on Monday. And until next week, have a good day. That's my TRVL update. All right, there's a few people here. Does anyone here want me to have a look at something? I've got a little bit of time. If I don't get any feedback, I'm going to go. No one? Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. Yeah, nothing interesting. All right. Have a wonderful weekend, and let's see what happens.